Hey Guardians, welcome to the Destiny Help Desk podcast, a show that's designed to help you with the little bits of the Destiny 2 online game. My name is Todd the Gator, and whether you're a brand new Guardian to the game or a returning player, I'm here to help explain the constantly changing dynamics of this game, bring you up to speed, and get you ready to jump in and start your Destiny journey. This is the audio component to my YouTube channel, which is, by the way, Todd the Gator. That's 2 Ds and G-A-T-R. Or you can visit youtube.com/@ToddTheGator. If you're more of a visual learner or want to refresh your memory of today's subject, you will always find a link to the video pertaining to this show's topic. Just check out those show notes below. If you have any questions for me that I might answer on the show at a later time, email me at toddthegator@gmail.com, or you can send me a voicemail with your question at speakpipe.com/Destiny Help Desk. All of these links will be in the show notes below. There are no stupid questions in Destiny, so if you need answers, please don't hesitate to send them my way. This podcast is here to serve you, and who knows, your question might just help a fellow newer Guardian out there as well. You can also DM me on Twitter at Todd the Gator. All right, let's get into it. Hey Guardians, today's show's going to be a little bit different. I know you all are used to me putting out videos or episodes to help explain a specific topic in the Destiny 2 realm, but today I caught up with a buddy of mine from our Guardian Downcast Discord community, and we had a chat over some topics in the game, including the new player experience and how veteran Guardians can help out the new lights out there. And maybe even some additional insights for all you new and returning players out there thinking of jumping back in to the Destiny 2 universe. So let's join in on the conversation. Well, Hawkslay3r, before we get into it here, man, why don't you share how much experience you have playing Destiny 2, just so the listeners know.
I've been playing Destiny 2 off and on, I say off and on. I've played every single expansion. There's been a couple seasons I've missed just due to work, and whenever you're traveling, you're going to miss a lot of key stuff.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But overall, I've tried to at least get a taste of the bulk of Destiny overall.
Right. So I would say you're probably, would it be accurate to say you're more of a casual player to Destiny 2? You kind of pick and choose what you want to play? So you're not going after triumphs and titles and...
You know what? I have not completed a single title yet.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to start right off the bat here. Since this is a podcast for newer players, what would you say getting into Destiny 2 if you had a friend that said, "Hey man, I like this Destiny 2 you've been talking about." What advice would you give them coming in to play Destiny 2?
The first one, whoever is inviting you, hold them accountable for inviting you, because everybody that I invite, I always make sure to play with them for their first couple sessions so that they can get an idea of where they need to go, what they need to do. Mm-hmm. And 99% of the questions that you're going to have, you're not going to have until you start playing the game.
So do you play the new experience with them, the new player experience, the new light campaign, or do you wait till they're done with that and move into something else with them? Or
no, after they get past all the cinematic stuff, if they start having issues or having questions, then I'll have them invite me to their fire team, and then I'll proceed to guide them and help them and do the stuff that they need to do. But I try to make them do most of the legwork rather than me going in with all of my up-to-date gear and everything and trying to and basically doing everything for them.
Well, they need to learn by doing, right?
Correct. And they need to experience all the bosses with question marks on top of their head.
Oh, yes.
I missed
days. Yeah, I do too, man. You know, it's funny. I was playing an alt character the other day. It was 1432, I think. I went down at that one spot in the Cosmodrome where the 3 knights are down below, and I saw the question marks. I'm like, whoa, the question marks are back. This is nuts. And of course, I hit them, and they're all immune, and I get one shot.
What about that one ogre that's in that hidden spot on the side of the cliff?
Yes. It's the other side of this. Not the steps where you start at the Cosmodrome, but it's the further up north. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that place is that's crazy.
I showed that to my nephew whenever whenever he first started playing.
Mm-hmm.
I let him die like 5 times before I finally
you can't kill him, bud.
Yeah, I had to let him experience the
pain,
the trauma of the question mark.
Dude, I used to get scared when I got to that cave area. I would always know he's in there. You know, he just appears, right? You know, he's not waiting for you.
Yeah.
He just kind of blinks in. You're like, oh, no, get me out of here.
Oh, yeah. And then you creep around.
Yes. Like Bugs Bunny.
You creep around the corner.
Yep.
You're like, does he see me?
Yep. And he always saw me. I could never sneak in there.
Nope.
But, used to be a chest you had to go in there and get. In Destiny 1.
No, there still is.
A gold chest? There's still one up there upstairs? Up above the roof line?
Oh, I don't know about the gold chest. But yeah, I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. You had to get up in the rafters it was really crazy. I remember I spent an hour there thinking, where's the chest? I see it on the map, but I can't find it anywhere. And then you realize it's not on the roof. It's not in the room. It's in between the roof and the rafters. And once you figure it out, oh yeah, good times. I wanted to ask you this. You said you kind of hold their hand at least a little bit when they first get in. Why do you think that is? Why do you feel you have to do that? Is Destiny that hard to understand?
No, it's not that hard to understand, but it's just that it's so much there.
So much coming at you, right?
Right. It's like looking at a pizza without having any slices prepared.
Yeah.
It's basically showing them where to make the cuts, how to have the general strategy on how to handle everything, and then from there they can take whatever section they want to and take the bites that they need to complete the pizza.
That's a good way to analyze it. I like that.
Yeah, I just made that up on the spot.
That's actually pretty good because, there's all different directions you can go as a new player in this game. I mean, you can decide to go, okay, I'm going to just do strikes. I'm going to finish the New Light campaign, and they give you some really good weapons to get started, by the way. So you should always play the New Light campaign, even though it's not the most exciting action-packed story. But at the end, you get some really cool gear, and it gives you a little bit of a quick boost. I
mean, not going to lie, I still have the very first auto rifle they give you in the game.
I still have the, what was it called? Gambit. There's a Gambit scout rifle they give you. Here, I'll look it up. I still have that one. It's called the Night Watch. And they give you one with like snapshot sights and like explosive rounds. I mean, it's a decent roll on it.
Oh yeah.
You can go.
It's a reliable one.
Yeah. It's like an all-in-one type of weapon. So it's really nice they give you that right off the bat, but you can only get it though by playing the New Light campaign. It's kind of a rite of passage, I guess, if you're wanting to start playing the game and jump in and start doing it. But, yeah, that's a good way to analyze it. You got to know how to cut the pizza up and decide what piece you want to start making bites into, because it can be a very daunting game if you were to look at it at a 30,000 feet looking down look.
Essentially, just looking at the overall map from all the different locations, you have all the different planets, and every single planet has all these dots and stuff, and you have no idea what they mean.
Yeah.
So it's always good that whenever you invite a new player, you at least show them the ropes, show them the basics of how to do things. Mm-hmm. You can teach them basic strategies, and let's say they felt brave enough and they wanted to try a higher level activity than what they would be capable of on their own. You can carry them through it and potentially get them even better loot than what they would be able to obtain on their own.
Right. You can kind of give them shortcuts at least a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been trying to do with my video series on my YouTube channel is just give people the basic stuff. Like, I don't think half the people knew what a ghost mod was. That ghost mod video I did that because someone in our Discord says, what are ghost mods? I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know what ghost mods are? As veteran players, we assume that everyone just knows that already, But I remember Mercules talking about when he was podcasting before he went to work for Bungie, that he had a few buddies of his that wanted to jump in and play. And he says, if I wasn't there to just make him avoid, to guide him along and stop him from making any mistakes that I made when I first started playing the game, he says, I don't know if they would still be here playing. I said, one of them was kind of okay with it and moved on. But a couple of his buddies really loved it, and they drank the Kool-Aid. They were in. And that's kind of what we're all hoping to do, because as Destiny is, an 8-year-old game now, it still has a lot of new players coming in every day that want to try to play the game. And man, how much, I can't imagine what they'd have to catch up on. But the fact that they've sunset so much stuff, it's really hard to explain to new players the origin of Destiny 2, you know, with the Warmind campaign and stuff. And I kind of almost wish they would bring it back, or at least, or integrate the cutscenes. You know, make a little 20-minute movie at the beginning where you can catch people up.
Right, and just give them like a highlight of some of the previous seasons or the previous expansions, and like let them know what's going on.
Right. Because, you know, I mean, we all weren't here. We didn't have the luxury of being here since the beta. So let's talk weapon crafting real quick here.
Okay.
I mean, are you familiar with the system of how it works and everything?
Yes. As for gaining the materials,
before you,
I cannot.
Let's go ahead. Let's go over that real quick. You need 5 resonant alloys to just craft the weapon initially. You need 10,000 glimmer, and you need these things called resonant elements. You need 75 plus 75 plus 300 plus 300. You need 750 resonant elements, and then you have to level up all your gun to be able to craft it again. So if you want to recraft a weapon, you have to have 20 resonant alloys, 40,000 glimmer, 12 enhancement cores, plus 75 elements per regular perk. And enhanced perk, you got to have that ascendant alloy, which are very rare in the game.
Yep.
And then resonant elements, you need 2,000 and 2 alloys. You need, basically, if you want to get enhanced perks on the weapon, you're going to need 2 ascendant alloys and 4,000 resonant elements. That's something you just can't scarf up last minute. That takes a lot of time.
No, I mean, and like somebody like you and me, we've been playing the game, and we didn't have to like necessarily grind for it. We were just playing the game, and it's been awarded to us.
Yeah, I think it's if you start this first story, the free story of the Witch Queen campaign. I think you have to run the first story to unlock it, where you start to earn the resonant elements and stuff for dismantling legendary weapons and stuff. Yes,
which I do believe that the first mission or the first couple missions are even in the free-to-play tracks as well.
Yeah, they are. Yep, and it's the first mission you have to do when Witch Queen first came out. And it just sets up the story for Witch Queen, and then if you want to run it from then on, then you might have to buy the expansion. Yeah. But they at least get your feet wet.
Right, which, as for me, if you're going to be playing the game long-term, other than just like once a week or something like that to play Crucible with your buddies,
right?
I always recommend buying the expansion because, number one, that does fund the creator of the game to make more content, and you get more access to it. So it's kind of like a double whammy in that sense.
Yeah, and it's not like other games like Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, where you can actually buy, you can pay to win. You can go buy some cool weapons and stuff. With Eververse, you know, the store that Bungie offers, it's all cosmetic only.
Right.
So it's not like you can buy your way in. Hell, Battlefield used to do that too. You could buy a pack of weapons and you don't have to worry about unlocking them. They'll just give them to you. Just pay the $20.
Well, that, and there's only one weapon that you can actually buy in the game, and that's that auto rifle that was bugged for a while and got shut down for a little bit, but then it got rebooted back up.
You're talking about the one when you pre-order Lightfall?
Yep.
It's called the Quicksilver Storm auto rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, 720.
Well, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that.
I got killed by it in comp last night. I was like, did I just get killed by a Quicksilver Storm? I did. I was good with it. And, you know, Rodimus Prime in our Discord, and our Guardian Downcast Discord, he swears by this gun. I think he told me he had like 20,000 kills in this thing. It's nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah, he loves that rifle.
But that is the only gun that could be included in the pay-to-win category.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. That would be the only exception, but you do have to buy the expansion. It's a pre-order reward.
Right.
Yeah. Right,
but you pay for the expansion, and then you get the gun as a bonus.
Right, exactly. But like all of the craftable weapons and the previous season weapons, I don't know. You might get a few of them to drop out of maybe just an occasional treasure cache, maybe. But otherwise, you got to jump in there and play those activities to get that gear. Yeah, we're talking about the weapon crafting. I was explaining how much all the elements you needed just to craft it. And then to recraft it, it was even more expensive if you want the enhanced perks, because you have to get so many kills with the weapon to unlock the enhanced perks on it.
Because I just did that whole process on my Amit AR 42 or whatever it is.
It's a good auto rifle, 450.
Oh,
precision.
It's a great auto rifle, but for me, since I don't grind as much as I want to,
right?
Just because I don't have that much time to play,
sure.
I have to be a little bit more selective,
right? So,
I've chosen 3 weapons specified for each individual subclass, or each individual subclass that I've dedicated these weapons to, and I've been building them up rather than getting a plethora of different weapons.
Right.
Now, I do have I think I have like 2 exotic weapons that I have crafted. One of them is the new pulse rifle, and then the other one is the Austria-Striga.
That's a great submachine gun.
Oh, dude, I have thousands upon thousands of kills with that gun.
The problem is you have to play the entire campaign on Legend to get, or no, no, you can get it once you complete the normal campaign, I think, too. It's the end. Well, it's the end reward.
I didn't play the normal campaign. I went straight into Legend.
Oof. Yeah, I should have done that. I had enough experience playing the game. I wimped out, and I just want to see. I'm the type that wants to just play the story and not be stressed and just enjoy what Bungie put together. But I didn't realize until I was halfway through it that the Legend gave you like all these enhancement cores and upgrade modules and all the stuff you would need to keep and not, of course, double rewards. And it was a no-brainer. But I'd already done half of it. So
yeah, well, for me, I was looking at it as, well, I'm going to have to do it anyways.
Right.
So why not just go ahead and do it now and not worry about it later?
Right. Yeah, I hear you. So if a new player was coming in to start playing the Witch Queen campaign, you would definitely say do it on Legend, right? Because Legenders, I think it's at the soft cap right now, but you just have more modifiers, right?
Yes, there's just more modifiers. There's a little bit more of a challenge. I want to say that there's more ads, and some of the enemies in there have a higher HP gauge.
Yeah, I think they have more shields too. I think if I remember correctly.
Honestly, I would gauge that answer depending on who I was talking to. If it was a casual to less frequent player, I just tell them go play normal, go have fun, go play the game,
right? Play
at your own pace. But if it was a more adamant to more extreme player, I would tell them to go play the legendary.
Yeah, because the rewards are worth it. I mean,
yes,
banners and emblems, and you get a cool exotic armor at the end of it, depending on what class you run. It's, I don't know. I would say that's the one time Destiny put a nice reward in front of it. It made it worthwhile. But don't get me wrong. There are a lot of missions, and that campaign is nothing to scoff at. It's going to take you some time to get it done.
Also, do you remember which mission it is that you're trying to dodge the guy swinging fire maces?
Yes.
At you around in the circular room, and you got to go into each of the sub rooms and shoot the crystals and all that.
I actually have that. I played it on Legend with my Hunter. I think I recorded it and put it on my YouTube channel, but it's in my Witch Queen campaign world events or stuff playlist, I think, on there. But yeah, I remember I would stream it. Did I stream it a couple times? I streamed it, and a couple times I recorded it. And people really loved watching it because they could see someone just do a playthrough of it and see what to expect. I'm trying to remember the mission, though, because there's so many missions and sub-missions.
I can't. Funny enough, I had a Respawn come in and help me.
Really?
Hey, well, for that mission specifically, I'm like, dude, I keep dying. I can't get past this dude. Right. He is a thorn in my side, and I don't know what to do. He's like, what class are you running? I'm like, I'm running my Void Hunter. He's like, are you using your glaive? I'm like, yeah. He's like, send me a picture of your aspects and fragments and all that. So I did that, and he's like, dude, you have this all wrong.
You didn't have the right build set up?
No, I didn't have the right build set up. And this is back whenever the glaive was still super broken, and basically you could stab an enemy once or twice, and then you go invis. Right.
He's good at that invis stuff, man. That's for sure.
I mean, I'm not even saying that like trying to pick at somebody or pick at you guys or anything, but I did crutch on that invis, that mission just because I don't think I would have been able to do it as easily without it.
The one that swings the mace, that's called the Ghost. That's the storyline. Yeah, that's the mission. Yeah.
That's what that is. But crazy, he helped me get through it.
Nice.
After he helped me with that build right there, it basically changed the game for me.
It's funny. When Stasis came out, I was like, I don't care. I don't care about builds. I don't care. It's too complicated. And I'm a Destiny veteran, and I didn't care. I didn't. I was not a fan of the Ice Show. And
see, with Stasis, I was not too impressed because, heck, I don't even think that I've completed the Stasis campaign on my main character to this day.
Oh, you don't have all the fragments unlocked?
No. Oof. But the thing is, I never run Stasis.
Yeah, I run it every now and then, and I want to learn how to play it better. But remember they came out with the new user interface, the way you could customize your classes and stuff. And that really did change the game. I didn't know it at the time, but once they started converting the next season, when they converted the Void subclass into the aspects and fragment system, that's when I starting to just dabble in it. And I'll tell you what, man, it is a totally different game once you know what build to put together. And now someone can just send you the dim link and say, here, this is it. And you click on the link, and if you have used dim and you've logged in with your account or linked your account to it, it'll totally put it in your loadouts. And if you're missing something like a mod, which, as of today, everyone has the mods now, which thank you, Bungie. Someone was listening.
Yes. It's about time.
I just said it last week on our Guardian Downcast show. I said, just give everybody the mods. And they listened. There we go. Thank you, Bungie.
About time.
God, I had so many people. I made a got mods video to explain where to get all the mods from. I think I have 30,000 views on that video. And which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot compared to the, hundreds of thousands of views a lot of these people get. But the question I had come up was, man, are you kidding me? Are you telling me that I have to go to A1 and check in every day to see if she's offering it? Some of these mods weren't offered for a month or two. So you tell me I have to sit here for a month or two and hope that the RNG is good to me? It was so frustrating, but
chances are the RNG will not be good to you.
Exactly. And even my alt account, I would go in there and go, okay, what am I missing? And every other day, there was one I didn't have, whether it was a Warmind cell build or mod or whatever. But now, as of today, this hotfix actually bugged Gambit, where no one can play Gambit without getting timed out or penalized or whatever. They're hopefully going to get that
fixed.
That's
just Gambit.
I know. I put a GIF in the Discord where I was pitching a fit as a little kid. I went, man,
I saw that.
I was wanting to play Gambit tonight. Darn. Because no one wants to play Gambit. Which it's a fun game, man. It really is. It's just been left to rot on the vine.
It's repetitive.
Well, they only took all the cool maps away and just left up with three maps. That's it. 3 rotating maps. And you know how many people start to memorize where the invaders come in after they play the same 3 maps all the time?
Well, if you just pay attention where you respawn, that's where the invaders are going to spawn.
Exactly. So it's unfortunate because I really like the game mode. Once you get me to play Gambit, I'm like, okay, this is okay. I'm having fun. Let's go. And the games used to be really fast when they revamped it at first, but now they have that stupid damage gate on the Primeval where you can't melt them like you used to. So the games drag on forever. Even if you're getting your butt kicked.
Well, that's where you kind of have to strategize a little bit. If you pay attention on your bottom left-hand corner, you do have a damage multiplier that racks up through every time you kill the combatants or whatever it's called.
Right. The Primevals? No, the witches are I'll just call them the witches. The Primeval, Primeval, I don't know what they call them.
Or the Primeval guards, or their...
I want to say that, like the guards or something, but I'm terrible with all these actual names and stuff.
I am too. But
I just know I kill them quick, and so I can do DPS on the Primeval.
Or I try to.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'm not going to lie. I played Gambit yesterday just so I can get my Pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some pretty sneaky kills on some invaders that were coming in.
Nice. When you first started playing Destiny 2, what was the most difficult thing you remember? Do you remember? I know it's a way back. Destiny 2, I mean, not Destiny 1.
Right. The first thing in Destiny 2, granted, it was just trying to figure out what would help me level up the most.
Well, all right, let's get into that. I like this segue. Leveling up, light levels, power levels, however way they call it now. Do you think we're really going to need that in the next season, or do you think they're finally going to get rid of that stuff? They've already mentioned that they're going to lessen the light cap requirement for the Grandmaster Nightfalls this season. They've already said they're going to relax that a little bit. So what do you think, man?
See, that right there, Bungie is unpredictable on this subject. I can see them doing that, but at the same time, I can see them keeping it around and making the more difficult activities legitimately more difficult with other enemies and other stuff that comes into play.
Right.
So instead of it being light level based, I can see them trying to make this more skill based.
Yeah, for the new Heist Battlegrounds, they've changed things now where it doesn't matter what light level you're coming in at. They're just going to make sure the enemies are +5 more than you. Do you think that'll be the way everything goes into Lightfall, or do you think they'll still have that power grind? Because that's hard to give up for some people, man.
Well, I want to say for certain things, like in terms of the relic, like that.
Yes.
It's to have something that still pushes the precedence of leveling.
Yeah, because for new players who don't know, there's a seasonal relic that not only unlocks seasonal mods, which are much cheaper and more explosive and crazy than your normal armor mods, but as you level up and unlock more stuff on your seasonal artifact, you actually get power level boost 1 point at a time. Like, I think I have plus 15 on my alt account right now. I think I'm at plus 20 on my my other main account. And that's all just from putting bounties in, completing events. Hey, Gator here. Sorry to interrupt, but when we had this interview several weeks ago, Bungie had not told us this information yet, but I just want to give you an update here. As of season 21, not the season of Lightfall, but the season after that, there will no longer be power requirements, and they are going to go the delta scaling like we talked about in the show there. So just a heads up. Thanks. Which, that brings up another point. Are we going to be needing bounties? Do you think they're going to phase out bounties going into Lightfall, or do you think that they'll never get rid of bounties?
You see, actually, I like the bounty system.
I do too. Oh, everyone knows I love bounties.
Oh, I know. I actually get a chuckle every time you go on the Guardian Down podcast and you get real serious and you're like, do you do bounties?
I love that question. I had that question later in the season, but yeah, think about it. If you stack bounties and you start slamming them at the beginning of the season that you stored it from the previous season, you can really not only move up your season pass, which unlocks all kinds of cool stuff and multipliers, but it also starts unlocking your stuff on your seasonal mod. As long as you unlock the mod first. You got to unlock the mod first. You got to do the little story to do that first.
Now, also, think about it this way. To your average player, what do you think has a higher ratio? You getting Glimmer in or you spending Glimmer? That's basically what you need to buy bounties, right?
You do. 250 to up to 1,000 and 3,000 for repeatables.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, for me, what I do whenever I go into an activity, whether it be Gambit, Crucible, Strikes, or whatever it is I do, I go to that vendor or I pull it up on my phone and I basically get all the bounties I can.
Right.
And more times than not, I have 75 to 80% of those done by the time I'm done playing my cycles of that activity.
Yeah, just from playing the game. Because a lot of the bounties are very general. Some of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, take Crucible, for example.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those are so easy.
Yes, those are so easy. Like, I grab all of those that I can, and then by the time I'm done, I have like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 or 9 bounties to turn in.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been playing the game. I haven't gone out of my way. I haven't put in a specific loadout. I haven't used a specific subclass. I've just played the game and blew things up.
I mean, you turn in 8 of them, you get a powerful Engram from Shaxx. We're talking Crucible here. And you get 120 Bright Dust, which you can spend in the store for whatever you want. It adds to your totals there. So, I mean, it's a win-win. Now, I'm not a big fan of strikes because, one, they just haven't really changed up the strikes in a long time, and they're kind of boring. Plus, and you all know me from the other podcast, when you're trying to get like, let's just say one of your missions for your Vanguard, for your strikes is to get 25 auto rifle kills. Well, if you have people in there just bored to death, just running through it so fast and just mowing everything down, how am I supposed to get that bounty done?
Yeah.
So what am I forced to do? If there's a strike that has an open area, I'll just run down into the lost sector where they can't follow me and I'll get the kills there. You shouldn't have to do that. Why can't they have, I don't know. It's a tough subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they should have like lower level strikes that you can do solo.
Well, I've always said they should have freelance solo strikes because they did it with all these seasonal events. You could get the firewalled event, right? Where you can run it by yourself in the Infinite Forest in the past. The technology's there. You can do it. It's not that hard to do. You go to your playlist strikes. You decide what level playlist strike you're going to play. Let's see. No, that's Nightfall, right? You go to your playlist strikes and then you have a little tab that comes down and goes freelance or match made. And you make your decision. Because I'll tell you what I do is I'll manipulate, let's just say, things on my console that where people can't get in my fire team. And that's the reason. That's how I get mine done is I'll just fly in solo because the game is it's 1 to 3 players, right? So it'll look and look and look and eventually it'll just go, okay, head on in. We'll try to find some people for you later. And you go get them done. I shouldn't have to do that though.
Well,
sorry, I'm just throwing everything on you tonight, man.
No, you're good. There's really 2 main reasons why I would do strikes, and I don't even bother doing the regular strikes anymore. I just go straight to like the hero level Nightfalls.
Right.
And the 2 main reasons is number 1, Pinnacle, and number 2 is if I need to work on a weapon focusing.
Right.
Taking care of that red bar. That's really the only 2 reasons why I even step foot in the strikes anymore.
Right. I mean, you do get a pinnacle for playing 3, but you have to play with the right subclass, burn or whatever that's on the playlist. I don't know how many times I've gone in with Void because I love my Void Warlock, and I'll forget to switch over to Arc at the end, and I'll have to play it again because I forgot to switch it over because some stupid thing I got to have the same subclass as the whatever elemental burn they have on, which it's just this little petty things like that. Why? I mean,
it should just be basically you play 3 and you're done.
I mean, I guess we're splitting hairs now, but anyway, these are just gripes that we have new players that we have had to deal with for a while now.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at it from a new player's point of view here, I had some more questions for you. What do you want to get done before the season of Seraph falls off and Lightfall drops? Do you have certain goals you want to do before the season ends?
Essentially, I want to get number 1, raise my light level up, and that's just about it. I mean, I have a plethora of weapons that I can pull from at any given notice. I have almost any armor I could use, so really it's just raising that up and I do want to complete the story. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the story is very interesting this season. It's I don't know. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really interesting, you know?
Yeah. Granted, that's really where Bungie shines with this game is the cinematics and the story and all the lore that comes behind it.
Yep.
I can understand skipping through something like whenever you've already seen it, but the first time I play through the story mission, I always pay attention to everything. Like if I'm in a fire team or something, like I'll turn them down or something. Mm-hmm. But also I keep the subtitles on that way in case if there is noise going on that I can't control.
Right.
I can still understand what's being said.
Yep. Are you on that weapon crafting grind? Is there weapons you want to craft or unlock for crafting? Or
there's a couple weapons like, heck, even for that group of weapons with the Drang Baroque and what's that submachine gun?
The Seraph machine gun.
No. The solar submachine gun that's in the same category as the Drang Baroque.
Mini or the Callus Mini tool. Yeah, I got that one.
I've only gotten one of each of those two weapons, one red border to drop.
Really?
I have tried. Now, granted, I don't have the I haven't upgraded the thing on there that will let me pull red borders from the vendor. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna help you there because there's a perk you can get in the unlock tree on that season. That would be Season of the Haunted.
Yes.
Where you can get a guaranteed red bar every week at reset, but you have to unlock it on the matrix, And the only way you can get that done is you have to go back to your challenges tab and go back to that season's challenges, and they have all the materials you need to unlock that, but you have to finish those. You have to do what those challenges say to do to get those materials to unlock the matrix. To get that unlocked, to be able to get that red bar, you can get your choice of red bar, one per week. That's how I finally got mine. But, it takes time. So
that's the grind of Destiny.
Yeah. And, how was a new player supposed to know that, coming in and, they didn't play Season of the Haunted, but wants that weapon because they saw it in the helm, right?
Right. Or they got killed with it in the Crucible.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, what's that weapon? Yeah. It's solar. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for me, I'm a solar hunter. That's my favorite subclass to use right now.
Right. You like the knives?
I like the knives. Also, just saying, if you're using the gunslinger, you basically have unlimited knives, and you can throw as many knives as you want.
It's crazy, isn't it? I have that build too.
It is, and it is really fun to use that in Crucible, like especially whenever you're playing. What's that one where you gotta dunk the spark?
Rift. Yeah.
Normally I hate that, but there's a few key maps on there that whenever I get into like a big open area, I can just chunk knives at people until basically I'm killed, or I come to the end of it, and then I just got to use the gun.
Yeah. Hey Guardians, just a quick announcement that I've achieved my first goal of reaching 1,000 newer Guardians out there on my YouTube channel. And it continues to grow every day, and I wanted to thank you for your support, and hopefully the videos I've released thus far have given you some clarity in traversing all the little things of this Destiny 2 game. As the latest Destiny 2 annual expansion rolls out, Lightfall, my goal will continue to be to help new and returning Guardians out there tackle the next iteration of the Destiny 2 universe story and its activities. So keep an eye out for my YouTube channel for these videos, and the audio components of them, of course, will be released here on the podcast as well in the future. So if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, Todd the Gator, what are you waiting for? Jump in there and follow the channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted to these videos when they first arrive. So we thank you very much, and later, Guardian. All right. Well, let's see. I wrote a list of questions here. Let me ask you this: Have you tried to get any of the past exotic weapons from Monument of Lost Light, or do you have them all?
I do not have them all. I've tried to get like the key ones that I know that I'm going to use. Believe it or not, I don't even have Rat King.
I just put out a video on that, by the way. I demonstrate every one of the weapons that are available. And at the end, I'll tell you the ones to get right away, but Rat King wasn't on it. I mean, I know it's nice to go invisible after a reload when you kill something.
Yeah.
But there's so many good sidearms out there.
There are. There's so many other weapons out there, but by the way, I did watch that video.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's a little long. It's one of my longest videos to date. But, dude, you know the weapons I had to test? That's a lot of weapons.
But there's a lot of crucial information on there that as a newer player, you may not have those weapons, but it would be helpful to see how they react in an actual combat situation.
Right. And I mean, it's a short demonstration, but at least people understand how the perk works. That was my main thing I wanted to get across there, is this is how it works. This is what it looks like when it's procced, you know, and then let them decide if it's crazy good or not. But,
right.
You know, it's funny. I talked to our Discord, Guardian Downcast Discord. There's a lot of new players in there that haven't played since Destiny 1 or never played at all. Destiny's a whole new experience for them.
Then lately, we've been getting a lot of new people.
A lot of new people. I don't know if the Google juice is finally kicking in or what, but I think, were you the one that showed me looking at Destiny podcasts that we were the first one to pop up?
Yep.
That's awesome, man.
I sent you that message, and it showed like one of your latest episodes, and then it was Two Titans and a Hunter, and then it went on to the rest of the podcast. So I'm like, oh, cool.
That's great. I'm loving that. I'm loving, we've been doing this podcast for over 3 years now. I mean, figure we start getting some credit, but I don't pretend to know how all that stuff works. So I just make sure I post it everywhere, and Google loves a lot of words. So I just try to do that.
By the way, on the 24th of this month will be my 1 year from getting in this whole massive community.
Really? It'll be your 1 year anniversary, huh?
Well, now whenever I say this massive community, of course I started out in Two Titans and a Hunter.
Right.
And then I went on to
what's the Tripod
Guardian
show?
Yep.
Good old Tripod.
Which I always thought that those shows were beyond entertaining.
Really? Okay, we'll have to do another one for Lightfall then. I'll talk to I'll talk to Night Demon. It's like herding cats, because you got 6 or 7 personalities in one room, and it's hard, and you have to make sure that everyone is quiet so the other person can talk. And so we usually assign someone in charge. Last season it was our last big expansion, it was Night Demon.
I've been on all 3 of the podcasts that are involved in that.
That's right.
And
it's a big group.
Respawn's really the only wild card in that situation.
He's fun though. He keeps you on your toes.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Other than his invisibility antics. Come on, man. Pick up a warlock and learn how to play.
Well, you see, whenever I tell people about the different podcasts and stuff, for Two Titans and a Hunter, I tell them it's like your coffee shop scenario.
It is.
So Night Demon's your British tea drinker, and then you have your casual latte and your latte and cappuccino drinker, which is Parody.
Yeah,
and then you have your espresso addict, which is Respawn. That explains all 3 of them to a T.
Dude, that was one of my first podcasts I listened to for Destiny. And those guys, I love those guys. They were so entertaining. And then not only when we started our podcast, they were one of the first podcasts to bring me on the show as a guest. And I was like, man, I cannot believe this. And I even said it on the show with them. I said, just a few months ago, I was listening to this podcast, and now here I am on the podcast talking with you guys. I feel very blessed. And it was just cool. It's very surreal, dude. Very surreal.
Like for me, I sent them in an email, and then I was listening to their podcast at work one day, and then they read my email, and I'm like, wait, what?
Isn't that cool? Yeah. That's why I try to do it on our show. If we have time.
But you're flooded. You're flooded with questions.
I know, man. We try to do is we try to make sure everyone's represented. And if someone has an extra question, then we'll push it to next week, especially if you've already read one of their questions, And we're working on that. We've organized our questions for the show into a forum style channel, which hopefully, I don't know. Godspeed.
You try.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
You try.
I leave it to Hazel. to fish through all that. He has his system, and I don't touch it anymore. And I handle all the voicemails, which we always get a steady supply of those too. So it's a lot of fun.
I know.
Man. It's an interesting dynamic, but
I try to contribute to that where I can.
Yeah. All right. Let me put you on the spot here. If someone goes to the Monument of Lost Light in the Tower, since it's so expensive to get these exotics from last expansions, what's the first one you tell them to get? hands down.
Oh, I like to cater things to people's personality and their play style.
Sure.
Overall, probably one of my favorites would have to be Outbreak Perfected.
It's a great pulse rifle, isn't it?
It's a great pulse. It's a great pulse rifle, even without the perk itself.
It is. It's the most forgiving pulse rifle exotic, I believe. It's a 450.
It is.
It fires a little faster than your adaptives,
and it's very stable.
It is.
And it's not all. Yes, and then on top of that, whenever you kill somebody with a headshot, which I'm not going to lie, it's very rewarding to hear that sound.
It is.
So, regardless of whether you're playing PvE or PvP, that is still a great gun to use.
It's an all-around great gun. I got killed by that in comp last night as well. Mm-hmm. Tuesday night, I should say. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, he's using an Outbreak. Okay, good for you, dude.
Which, my general loadout for my primary and my secondary is going to be Outbreak Perfected, and then I also use Drang Baroque, which, since I don't have that crafted yet, I got lucky and I got a really good roll on that. So with that right there,
yeah,
I am running a double primary, but I still wreak a lot of damage.
See, that's the thing, man. That's the thing about this game, Destiny 2. There's so many. Call of Duty, everyone thinks it's the shit. Dude, you get a handful of ARs. You get maybe one, like, single shot semi, like a scout rifle. What we would call a scout rifle, but they would probably call a semi-automatic rifle.
Right.
You get a couple heavy machine guns. You get a rocket, maybe a rocket to shoot down the UAVs, and that's it. Or okay, all right, maybe a few hand cannons or what they call sidearms. They usually have like an SMG, like some kind of fast firing, close range, very close range. But that's it. You go to Destiny 2, and my God, man, I can't even. Here's the thing. I'm thinking about doing a video about this because not only do you have a pulse rifle, which usually Call of Duty offers one.
At least different variations of it, as well as with all the perk options on there.
But in Destiny 2, you have your high impact frames, which fire slower but are hard hitting.
Yes.
You have your exotic ones like the new Revision 0, which it's a 450 RPM and it's kind of in a class all of its own. You have a lightweight frame, which fires at 450 as well, but it doesn't quit. It fires faster, but a lightweight frame allows you to run faster when you have it equipped, when you have it in your hands. And then you have 390 adaptive pulse rifles, which are kind of an all-around good pulse rifle, kind of middle of the road. You've got the rapid fire pulse rifles. There's so many different kinds of just a pulse rifle. And the way Bungie puts these weapons across, they're so real. They're so realistic and gritty looking. They look like they've been worn. They got scratches and stuff on them. They're very realistic in the game with the shine and everything too. But
oh yeah,
you almost feel like, you know what? I could use this. In Battlefield, let's face it, all the weapons are real life weapons. An AN-92 is a Russian rifle that they actually used in the 60s. So
yep,
I think so. I think it was 60s. Vietnam era, but anyway.
Yeah, around that time period.
Exactly. So, but with these weapons, these are all fantasy weapons, but you think Destiny 2 is a fantasy shooter, but it is so much closer related to a real life gritty shooter than you think. Because these weapons they're plausible that they could actually be a real weapon in real life. In fact, people make models of them and put them in their office,
Oh, trust me, I have seen some beautiful renditions of Ace of Spades.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really thinking about doing my next video or one of my next videos. I'm thinking about breaking down the archetypes of different weapons because we had someone in our Discord say, can you maybe explain what the different kinds of pulse rifles are or what the different kinds of scout rifles are or auto rifles or maybe explain what the benefits of each of them are? And I'm like, you know what? That's actually, I don't see many videos like that out there. I see a lot of weapon review videos, like Cool Guy.
Right.
He just put a video out on the new Lodbrok. It's a slow firing, high impact auto rifle, but
yes,
no one's really put a video out there to explain the different classes of weapons and what the benefits are to using them.
Yeah, I haven't really seen much of that either. I would really encourage that
because, it's a lot of work. First, I've got I've got to do an outline. I've got to write scripts into tracks. And then I've got to get footage for every script or track, because I'm not just going to put B-roll up there and say, hey, this is the adaptive pulse rifle, and not have a picture of it or showing someone using it or something. I mean, that's part of a good video is showing how it's being used or putting it front and center while you're talking about it. But yeah, I'm seriously thinking about that, because there's so many new players out there who don't really understand the variety of just one type of rifle or hand cannon.
Well, like for me, if I see a gun that fits within my play style, regardless of the frame or anything like that, right. I always want to try it out, and I'm like, maybe this can work, or I kind of take a mental note, or I'll lock that weapon,
right?
Which for those of you who are new to the game, every weapon and every piece of armor you have the ability to lock it, and you will not be able to dismantle it.
Exactly. And and that's another thing is Bungie is always changing the sandbox. So say you get the Syncopation 53, which is the first craftable pulse rifle. It's a 390 adaptive from the Witch Queen campaign, and 390s right now are pretty accurate, and they're almost perfectly vertical recoil wise, and you can even put stuff on there that makes the recoil very, very light as well. But and right now they're decent, they're very forgiving, and they're accurate. It's a good all around pulse rifle. Got killed by one of those in comp the other night.
I get killed by that all the time.
But what can happen is Bungie is always moving the needle. They can adjust it where maybe you get a little extra recoil next season on it, or maybe it doesn't have the range that it used to. They can tweak stuff just to make people either try something different or maybe get better at using it or adapting to the changes made to it. That's what's so great about this game, man. It's the only game you can play PvE. You can run a strike, get a drop on a weapon, immediately jump into PvP and try it out and see how it kills fools. It's the magic sauce of this game, man, because you can't do that in Call of Duty. I remember Battlefield tried to do it. Battlefield 4, I believe, where you play you play the campaign, you'd unlock these weapons that you could use in Crucible or the PvP part of it, multiplayer.
Yes.
That was the closest thing I've seen to it.
They've tried to do that, but it didn't work like the way that like the system Bungie has.
And that very system is what makes this game so tough for them to tune and not break things, because they have to balance not only for PvP, but they also have to balance the rifle for PvE, where people still feel powerful using it. Right.
And even going to the PvP part, didn't at the beginning of the season, didn't they have to put a freeze on the Rose or whatever the hand cannon was?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They now have the flexibility now where they can just disable a weapon if it's breaking the game. And say, we're working on it and we'll unlock it as soon as we get it fixed. I just don't see that happening with any other game out there. I play a lot of shooters in my time, but I've never really seen that. But maybe they've done it in a few games, but that's the one thing about Destiny 2 or Destiny period, is that you could always grab something in game while playing around in the worlds and see how it works in a multiplayer situation.
That's one of the many reasons why I love Destiny being as unique as it is as a game overall.
And the gun handling. I think the gun handling is actually better than Call of Duty. And Call of Duty is the standard, man.
It is. And I don't think that Destiny gets the respect and the hype that it should.
I agree.
I think that some people are too hung up on the quote-unquote fantasy or space magic aspect of it, and that kind of deters a lot of people.
Right. Well,
but after they really get into it, they'll realize how complex of a game that it is, and it really does not even compete with Call of Duty in that sense.
No. It's just a special game. It really is. It's the reason I love playing it so much, and why I don't play Call of Duty anymore.
Nope.
The path to victory is long, but there's always hope. Fight!
Okay, I'm going through my questions here. I have a few more for you for new players that might ask. Well, we kind of went around this subject, but I'm going to ask it in a different way. Compared to other MMOs out there, and I mean, this is considered really an MMO action shooter, which I don't think there's another game type like that out there, but let's just say it's like other MMOs out there. How difficult do you think it is to begin to play Destiny 2 versus, say, another, a popular MMO out there?
Oh,
is it the same? Is it worse? I mean, do the other games, do they explain or help or hold people's hands better when they first play the game? Or is Destiny 2 part of that problem that everyone else has? Just from your experience.
From my experience, even whenever I'm going on brand new activities that I've never done before, Destiny is really good about sending a beacon in the direction that you're supposed to go.
True.
And whenever you're introduced to something new for the very first time, they typically put that little banner down at the very bottom of your screen,
right,
and kind of gives you a general preface. But a lot of the times they do a fairly decent job at giving a overall description of whatever terms that it is whenever you go over to it.
Right.
Now, sometimes you will have to Google what something is or where to get something or how something works or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, overall, I want to say like 80 to 90% of the time, you can figure out whatever issue you're having or whatever question that you have in game.
Okay, fair enough. A few more questions here. I'm about to wrap up. How many legendary shards do you have?
Right now I have a total of 3,000.
Okay, it's a healthy number.
Well, I got really low at one point, so I at the beginning of this season, halfway through last season, I kind of made a point to not consume so many legendary shards. Like a lot of the legendary shards that I was burning up was on upgrade modules.
Yep. And now they have weapon focusing, which used to be 50 legendary shards, but they actually just told everyone that they're reducing it to 25. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's about time.
I think it was 100 in Trials of Osiris. That's nuts, man. And if you want to get an ascendant, wait a minute, not an ascendant, but
no, I think it is.
Yeah, ascendant alloy. 400 legendary shards.
Yep.
So that's lead me into this next question. Do you feel there's a problem with in-game currencies? I know there's a lot of them, but despite that fact that there's a lot of confusion with the different currencies in the game, even seasonal currencies, do you feel there's a problem with the actual economy in the game for new players?
Well, as for that, that's where you kind of need a guide at the very beginning to kind of help answer you some of those questions. Because someone like you or me, we've been playing this game for a while. We have a stockpile up of just about every single currency and consumable out there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we also have the knowledge of how to get them.
Right.
So
you're going back to your first point. Whoever invites you to play this game, they have a responsibility to at least get you going at the beginning.
Yes, they have a responsibility to at least get you going, show you the ropes, show you how to get this stuff. Now, granted, you get legendary shards from completing just about anything.
Just about.
And
a little at a time. It's slow.
Yeah,
it's a trickle.
Yes, it's a trickle. And actually, as far as I know, there's no mods or anything else that will increase or decrease the amount of legendary shards you get. Only Glimmer. Yeah, only Glimmer.
Yeah. Do you think there should be, I know, you know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Spider used to offer legendary shards for either planetary materials, which have now been phased out of the game.
Yep. I think that was either last season or the season before last.
It was last season. Actually, it was this season. Season of Seraph is where they got rid of planetary materials.
Yep.
But they used to be able to spend Glimmer, like 5,000 Glimmer to buy one legendary shard. Do you think they should bring that back to that kiosk? It seems like a very simple way to farm it. Because, I mean, you get Glimmer for everything, but you don't get... you just said this, but you don't really get legendary shards from everything. You get a couple maybe at the end of a strike. And unless you start dismantling a bunch of guns and and armor, which, let's face it, most people are hanging on to those because they don't get many purple items, or even worse, exotic items when they're first starting to play the game. They're kind of hanging on to everything. At least that's what I did. So you don't want to dismantle too much because you don't know what's good yet. And those are definitely better than blue weapons and armor. So it's kind of like they're in and I heard a lot of people complain that legendary shard economy is off. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Like, I want to say the consumption to acquisition is off.
It's almost like they're purposely trying to drain our legendary shards, because there was a glitch farm that people took advantage of, including me, at the Cryptarch. And there's still one way you can spend Glimmer to get a legendary shard. It's a very tedious way to get it, but you can do it. It takes a lot of time though. Instead of just going to the Cryptarch and saying, listen, dude, I've got 5,000 Glimmer. How about a legendary shard? And I'll give you the 5,000 Glimmer, which is what Spider used to do before the Cryptarch took over those roles. But the only other way you can really do that now is you have these transmat effects. And once you start gathering them just from playing the game or just dropping from weekly activities or whatever, an engram that you get on your season pass to turn into the Eververse store, and you get this new transmat that's legendary. You can actually purchase it for 5,000 and then dismantle it. You lose like 2,000 of your dollars. You get 3,000 back and you get one legendary shard. That's the only way I know of right now to farm legendary shards with Glimmer.
Yeah, and that's still paying a hefty price.
It's very hefty. But not only that, but you have to get it out of collections. Then you have to dismantle it. Then you got to bring it. You have to bring it to Amanda, by the way, to do that. It's just a lot of work. Why not just put the kiosk? Just let Cryptarch have another little category. It says legendary shards, because right now you can spend legendary shards for Glimmer, which is just so back-assward for me. I can't even fathom doing that unless I'm in an emergency and I have to have it.
Which still, at the same time, you can put. You have like consumables that you can use that will enhance the amount of Glimmer that you get in.
Exactly.
And on top of that, I want to say you get, obviously you get Glimmer from defeating enemies.
From shooting.
And
yeah.
Yes. And I want to say certain enemies, don't you even get legendary shards?
There is a consumable. I'll just get it real quick here. I'm sure I've got it down here. I'm sure I've got one. I'm sure I've got one of these left because I use them right away. There is a consumable called Finest Matter Weave that just drops randomly when you dismantle stuff, where when you shoot a yellow bar enemy, you have a good chance of getting, actually, no, that's actually an enhancement core.
Yes.
No, it's not a legendary shard. How do you, I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever gotten a legendary shard from killing an enemy.
Yeah, I'm maybe thinking of that last season where the season where you ran through whatever activity that was to farm for the Drang Baroque and the Callous Mini Tool and all that. You remember that consumable that you get at the end of that at the end of that whole mission and whatever. You had this checkpoint fall down and you could essentially pay 500 or however much it was, and you could get an additional drop.
Man, are you talking about the legendary Witch Queen campaign? The chest?
No. Dadgummit, I ran this thing at least 500 times.
What was it, this season or last season or during the Haunted season?
Yes, it was Season of the Haunted.
There might have been some kind of unlock in the Matrix, the seasonal Matrix that maybe awarded that. Maybe that I don't remember using that.
I
went off the rack our brain over it. That's okay. My general question was just, did you think it was difficult to get on that legendary grind? Because other than the transmat effects, which they're 5,000 Glimmer to get one out of collections, then you got to go to Amanda to turn it in and grind it and turn it into and dismantle it. So I mean, it's, I don't know, man. You got to go to Amanda to get it out of collections, I think.
Okay. Vestige of the Dread. That's what I was referring to.
Oh, Vestiges of Dread. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a seasonal currency that you could, you needed to, I think you needed it to get some of the weapons for that season. It was just a seasonal currency.
Well, they had this, they had this area that you could go and do this activity, and then at the end of it, you opened up the chest, and then there was basically a staff or something that you could go to, and you could pay 500 Vestiges of Dread to get another drop.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
You would get this talisman that you could go and unlock a chest.
Well, it was a key.
A key, right. You could unlock a chest in the world, and it would drop you possibly a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. I know what you're referring to now. Okay.
Yeah, that's that.
My bad.
For some weird reason, I can't remember that activity for the life of me.
I can't either. It was in the Leviathan area.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was the 6-man activity for that season, which you can't. I don't know if you can. You might be able. Yeah, I think you can go back in there and still do it.
Yeah, you can still go do it.
To get the materials for the last season, for that season's materials. You have to do it.
Yeah, okay. You can still go back and go do it now because,
right.
I mean, granted, it is also a fun activity,
right?
And whenever you're wanting to work on focusing weapons and that kind of stuff, that right there is also a good activity to do because there's a plethora of ads out there, and you don't necessarily have to worry about anybody coming in and stealing your kills.
Right. Yep.
So there's so much to be working on because it's such a broad area.
Right.
Even though it's a 6-man activity, you still have to break apart into multiple different sub-teams just so that you can complete the objectives at hand.
Right. Yep. Well, just so everyone knows, all of these, Bungie has not wanted people to have FOMO, fear of missing out. If they miss a season, they can go back during the Witch Queen campaign era and repeat do the 6-man or 3-man activities and get the materials to unlock that seasonal's weapons and stuff. So, but the one thing I did want to mention is once Lightfall comes at the end of February, which damn dude, it'll be here before you know it. All of those activities go away for the year. So if there's a weapon you need to get right now from a prior season and you haven't gotten it yet and you really want it, then go to your quest tab on your character, go to the seasonal challenges, go back to the season which you're looking for, whether it's Haunted or Risen or whatever, and pull it up and find out what you need to do to unlock the materials. And it's going to be grindy.
By the way, the location in the Leviathan that I was previously talking about is called the Castellum.
Castellum, that's it. That was it. Yeah, it's like a public event, but it was a long form public event.
Yes,
but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you also got a lot of cool stuff, and also if you had somebody or if you were in the knows, like you knew what was going on.
Right.
There was also little chests.
Yes.
That in between the activities, you could go to these chests, and there were 5 or 6 different locations where two chests would pop up, and that would be 2 additional chances for you to get a key.
Yep. Or sometimes you got armor, sometimes you got a weapon. It was a random. Or was it a key only?
It was Glimmer, Legendary Shards, and something. Whether it be a blue armor or weapon or a purple armor or weapon
thing. Right, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, which actually I got more blue stuff from that than anything.
Right. Okay, last question, and this is armor builds and armor and build crafting. Have you gotten into this much?
I have a little bit.
Okay.
I'm still very ignorant to a lot of the details, but essentially what I do, whatever it is I'm trying to get into, obviously PvP, you're going to need a different build than if you were to go into a raid.
Yes, most definitely.
So I know that 2 Titans and a Hunter blast out, plunder the booty, out the booty, no pun intended, or all the pun intended. But that is a great source for builds because he's not biased towards any class whatsoever.
Right. And so my buddy Native Raider, which is one of our newer members of our Discord, he's a YouTuber like me trying to grow his channel, and he focuses on Titan. So if you're a Titan fan, Native Raider, and it's in like the letter 8, Native, IV, R8, DR, I believe. Anyway, he's trying to grow his channel right now, and he puts out some really great guides as well. But the cool thing about this, though, Hawkslay3r, is they have a dim link usually entered in their description of their channel, of their video.
Yes.
You click on that, and if you are registered and you have your account linked with DIM, and DIM just stands for Destiny Item Manager. It's a third-party app that's been running for a long time, ever since Destiny 1, I want to think. Yeah, Destiny 1. Because they have Destiny 1.
I didn't find it till Destiny 2.
I don't think I found it until Destiny 2 either, but it has Destiny 1 stats in there as well. Maybe they add that in after the fact. But I remember watching...
I want to say that they incorporated that.
Okay. But it is, to me, it's the most comprehensive app. It does everything. It's not just moving stuff in and out of characters or vaults or whatever, but you can put loadouts together and save them, and in just a click or a button press on if you're using the app on your phone, it can load up your entire armor and weapon build, whatever you're going into, like within a minute. It's the greatest thing.
Right. And I mean, now granted, that whole app right there, if you don't know what you're doing, it is very overwhelming.
It's intimidating. Yes. And all I can tell you there is look up DIM on YouTube. There's a lot of people out there who have great guides on how to use it. I don't have one. I focus on the new player and maybe a DIM. There's so many people have done really good DIM videos that I really don't feel there's a need for me to put one out. So, there's a lot of good ones out there. Just search for DIM in YouTube, and there's a ton of people out there that have put some really great guides out. Very, very instructional. But yeah. So that now that they've released all the mods for everyone that can use right now, you don't have to go looking at Ada every reset. Now everyone has all these mods. I think more than ever, people should get educated on how to make builds. And I may still do a video on at least making a basic build. Maybe just getting them started through the steps of how to do it, maybe.
Well, the steps and the general fundamentals on what to look for and the purposes of the of what everything means and what it
video ideas tonight. I like this.
Yeah.
Dual purpose. Nice.
You know me, I'm always down to help whenever you need.
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, my last question for you is, you ready for Lightfall?
Oh, I'm ready for Lightfall. I don't have it pre-ordered yet.
It's okay. You've been busy.
Yes, I've been very busy, but probably on my next full check, I'll be I'll be pre-ordering it because I want it.
It's going to be a lot of shenanigans, that's for damn sure, because it looks totally different than the Destiny 2 we're playing right now. It looks like they just went a whole right turn into another land that I'm curious to see what's all about. And they've already been hinting that they're going to be revamping how builds are put together and stuff. They tweeted that out today.
Yeah, and also loadouts as well.
Yes. Plus they're going to have which I'm really excited about, is they're coming up with a new rep system for the game, which I love that stuff, man. You're going to have a rep score above you or within your play character description or whatever, or account description.
It's going to be visible somewhere.
Yeah. So you'll know if this guy's really helpful. He's got a really high Sherpa score. You're going to know, man, this is the guy I need to talk to if I want to get through my first raid or something, or someone to show me the ropes, you know? But,
right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Well, Hawkslay3r, brother, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thanks for helping me answer some questions that new players may have coming into this game, Destiny 2. And, dude, I know you're in the Discords and everywhere, but tell everyone again where they can find you in the Discords. Or everywhere else, if you want.
Well, you can find me in Discord. I'm typically creeping around the Guardian Downcast system somewhere in there at some point. You can always look in their roster on the upper right-hand corner of the screen to see who's all included in there. You'll see my name in there. I'm not really on TikTok much these days. I do more viewing than posting these days.
Sure.
But where I am the most nowadays is Xbox, and my gamer tag is Hawkslay3r with 3 at the end, so HAWKSLAY3R. That's my gamer tag, and I always encourage anybody who is struggling, if they see me online, feel free. I'll be more than happy to help them. And you never know. Like, I had a situation the other day where I was struggling with a mission, and I invited a buddy of mine, which I've never asked him for help before, but he was actually complimented that I reached out and asked for his help.
Nice.
So it goes both ways. If anybody needs some help and they see me online, I'll be more than happy to help them. I typically always have my mic on or at least plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's good times, man. It's always good times in the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get a raid in soon. We haven't raided in a while.
Yes. I haven't done a raid in well over a month now.
Well, we got to change that. I heard Hades also has not ever finished a raid. So me and Hazel take that as a personal challenge. We got to get him through one on a weekend sometime because he's on UK time. So,
which raid are you looking at doing?
I don't know. I think Hazel said whatever one he wants to try. We'll help him get through it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I don't even know if Hazel's supposed to be putting something together. I just said make sure I'm in that group. Because I want to be there when he's completing his first raid. That's always a cool experience, you know?
Oh, yeah. Knowing him, he'll probably get an exotic.
Probably. I mean, I brought Uncle Scumdeath through a Vault of Glass. He was so tired because it was so late for him versus us. And he might have been imbibing a little bit and some drink. And he was slurring his words a little bit when he was in there. But he's a good guy. And sure enough, he wakes up and goes to the chest after we killed everything, and there's a brand new shiny Vex Mythoclast waiting for him, and I hadn't gotten one yet, and I played the raid several double-digit times.
Wait, you still haven't gotten it yet?
Oh no, I've got it now, but
okay,
he got it well before I finally got. I think it took me 18 runs to get it. He got it on the very first one.
Same here. Vault of Glass. That was good to me. I got that on the very first run.
See, I've been lucky too. There's been some past raids where people chirping me, and I would get the exotic the very first time, and I'm sure people weren't happy about that. But that's RNGesus. That's RNG.
Yep.
So, well, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Hey, we got to do this again, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some more topics down the road. We'll maybe get a chance to get back together and talk it up and try to help these new players out there.
That, and if I ever have any more ideas or something, I can always send them to you, and you can add them into future videos or podcasts or whatever you want to do.
I'm always open to that, man. Hell yeah.
Which, I have a bunch of questions that are being cooked up by some very prominent individuals within the community.
Mm-hmm.
Which, also, I've even added Rodimus to that list as well.
Oh, God help us.
Rodimus and Hades.
Oh, my God. 2 troublemakers. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But this is trouble for 2 Titans and a Hunter, so you should be all for this.
Oh, okay. I've changed my position. I'm liking this. Yes.
Come on, I've talked to you about this.
Yes. Exactly. Nice.
Which Night Demon is the only one that knows what's going on. So
nice. Very cool.
Well, I had to check with him just because I didn't want to overthrow his podcast one day if he had something like seriously crucial playing and end up throwing all that off.
Oh yeah, of course. He's good. He's good people, man.
Yeah. Well, I just like to be respectful because it's not my podcast.
Sure.
I haven't spent years building it up like they have.
Yeah, and he spends a lot of time editing too. He really puts the final touches on it. His podcast has so much information in it too, so it's
well, right now I'm estimating around 75 questions for this little game show I have planned up.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah. And that includes anywhere between multiple choice questions to just blanket take a guess questions to I'll send a picture and they'll try to identify it.
I love it.
And even to audio recordings of particular weapons being fired.
Oh, very cool. So listen. Yep.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm not restricting myself to Destiny 2. This is Destiny 1 as well.
Very nice.
So, and
make them turn their Destiny card in if they don't get that right.
Well, let me tell you this. I also have Not Arf helping me as well.
That's a good guy too. Very nice guy.
This is going to be very, very good.
I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Well, I'll have to definitely keep in touch because I might need a co-host, and I don't know how this is going to go yet. So I might be calling. I might be calling on you, and I'll let you know with plenty of time to spare.
I'll help you out where I can, man. Definitely.
Right on.
All right. Well, thanks again, dude. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. I just wanted to thank my buddy in our Guardian Downcast Discord community, Hawkslay3r, for giving his insights into the new player experience today, and keep an eye out on future episodes where I will talk about another subject in the world of Destiny 2. Just a reminder that if you want to join our community, go to discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. That's where my longtime buddy Hazelnut and I have another Destiny 2 podcast for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we interview content creators and community members to discover their story and journey in Destiny. We also talk about the current issues in the community and the game and go over the latest news from Bungie. If this sounds like something you might want to check out, the link will be in our show notes as well. There's lots of quick links down there, so check them out. Finally, if you have a question relating to the show that you want answered, you can email me at toddthegator@gmail.com or send me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Destiny Help Desk. I want to help you out, so let's hear them. Lightfall is just around the corner. Thanks again for your time, and later, Guardian. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. I just wanted to thank my buddy in our Guardian Downcast Discord community, Hawkslay3r, for giving his insights into the new player experience today. And keep an eye out on future episodes where I will talk about another subject. Really?